In this video, I'm going to be explaining why Caleb Williams is one of the most overrated prospects in this year's stacked draft class. Here's some footage from his Heisman winning year, which was last year, his sophomore season. I mean, come on now. Just look at this. He's not throwing a cornerback in the NFL. I'm sorry. Caleb Williams is 6 feet tall. There's no cornerback he's going to be throwing like that. Maybe a bench warmer in a 30-point blowout when they're losing, but he's not throwing a cornerback like that. I'm not saying Caleb Williams is complete garbage, but I mean, these clips that I'm showing right now where he's throwing these pass touchdowns, they're all from last year to Jordan Addison. And if you've been watching the NFL this year a lot, you know Jordan Addison is a rookie and he's on the Vikings. And he played pretty well. He had 10 touchdowns and 800 yards. With those stats in the NFL, you can only imagine what he was doing in college, especially against Pac-12 cornerbacks, which are not good. All right, let's go look at this next clip, right? Caleb Williams stepping back. Not a lot of pressure. He launches it right. He has great arm talent. Jordan Addison's wide open. I wouldn't say wide, but he's pretty much open, where you have to get that ball to him 80% of the time, especially if you're in the NFL. All right, let's go look at this next clip. Caleb Williams rolling out to the right, and he hits Addison on a pretty low ball, which was caught. This is where I think Caleb Williams is actually pretty good at. He's pretty good at being a dual threat quarterback. He can run pretty well, throw on the run. From all this footage, you're probably wondering why I think he's going to be a bust. All these schools he's actually playing against, Fresno State, Rice, and Stanford, they're not that good of schools at all. And when he plays against real competition, which I'll be showing in these next few clips, he does very bad under pressure. He can't make good throws, and he's not going to outrun these defensive linemen that are actually really good in teams like Notre Dame and Oregon. You see right here against Arizona State, he fumbles a snap, and he's running and running and running. This is not going to work out in the NFL. He's getting sacked, or he's losing the ball while he's getting negative 10 yards, maybe negative 5 if he's lucky to run himself out of it. But this is just not working out in the NFL, and I can't believe this is in his highlight reel. Kind of ridiculous. The thing is, Caleb Williams' sophomore year was actually really impressive, especially the first 6 games of his season. They actually started 6-0 and destroyed most of their opponents. Their first typical game was Utah on the road. It was a really entertaining game. And then it was quite crazy. I'll show that right now.
Looking Kincaid's way to the 10. It's rising. It's in! Now do you go for 2 to try to beat undefeated USC?
It looks like it.
Rising up the middle. He's in! Utah leads. Caleb Williams sees the pressure, has to bail, has to throw it quickly. When will it land? Where will it land? Incomplete! Utah wins!
They do go on to win their next 5 games pretty easily, and with their next game to go to the college football playoffs with a win, they face Utah again. They do find themselves down 10 points in the fourth quarter, and with an opportunity to bring it down to 1-possession game, on 4th down, this is what Caleb Williams does.
Caleb Williams sees pressure. The throw is wide open. Jordan Addison, a bust again, and USC lives.
As you see, it was an amazing throw by Caleb Williams. Even a better route ran by Jordan Addison. He was wide open.
To rise to the occasion, and that's exactly what Addison does.
On the 23rd-yard line, to bring it to a 1-possession game, maybe even a field goal game, this is what Caleb Williams does.
Side, including Addison. Williams throws that direction, and it's intercepted. Picked off by R.J. Hubert for Utah.
The short side, the boundary, you're trying to go vertical, but Hubert is staring it down the entire way. The second leading tackler, the 5th-year season.
As I said before, I'll be talking about Caleb Williams' junior year, which was this most recent college football season, and he played pretty well. He started off 6-0. The competition wasn't too great, Maybe the only competition was Arizona. He only had 219 passing yards, but he did have 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, this scenario is pretty similar to last year. They started off 6-0, and their 7th game is against a team on the road that's ranked. Last year was Utah. This year's Notre Dame. And this is what happens in the opening drive.
Start for Southern Cal offensively a week ago. Trying to start a little better this week as it is intercepted right down the middle of the defense. It's Watts, Xavier Watts with the pick, and he is still on his feet now as he...
Getting in Caleb Williams' face. Caleb makes so many spontaneous plays. He feels the heat. He lays one up. He's too high with the throw, and Xavier Watts makes him pay.
As you can see, the ball was completely overthrown. I mean, Caleb Williams was facing pressure, and Notre Dame's defense is extremely good. But, I mean, there's got to be a better decision than that to turn over the ball on your opening drive and then bring it back to your 20-yard line, especially in a game where you need to win this on the road to have a chance in college football playoffs. Caleb Williams and the USC offense really didn't do much the entire first quarter and majority of the second quarter. And on this drive, you'll see what Caleb Williams does.
Just to relax and execute ball plays.
Williams, pressure, going to elude that, and then throws an interception. It's Watts again. Now Watts trying to take it to the house as he takes a...
As you can see, Caleb Williams runs towards the pressure, throws a double-covered pass on the run, straight to the defense that end up taking it to the house, with an opportunity to bring it down to a one-possession game after throwing 2 interceptions in the first half. This is what Caleb Williams does.
He needs points for the conclusion of this first half. Williams, pressured, retreats, and now he throws another interception. It's Benjamin Morrison who rises and picks it off right there in the sky.
I mean, come on now. Shuffling backwards, running to the pressure, running to your left, shuffling backwards and throwing a pass to a double-covered receiver? That is not superstar talent. I'm sorry. In all honesty, Caleb Williams' second half of the season wasn't impressive at all. They lost to Notre Dame pretty bad. They lost to Utah. They beat California on the road by 1, lost to Washington at home by 10, lost to Oregon on the road by 9, and lost to UCLA by 18 at home. Those are just teams you have to beat if you're an NFL caliber quarterback. Now, as a Bears fan, I really hope they don't draft Caleb Williams. I feel like we should stick with Justin Fields, maybe draft Marvin Harrison, or take Joe Alt, or trade down, get Malik Neighbors, or just some other weapon on offense because the Bears defense is already elite. But I do hope Caleb Williams does good in the NFL, but I just don't see it happening in my opinion.